What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft. Joining me, as always, the esteemed and very sleepy Seth Martin. Seth, how you doing, my friend?
Is sleepy.
he's
Put those words together. That's what I did there.
he's rolling in here hot, ladies and gentlemen. But we are
So hot for you.
We have a hot episode lined up ready to go. We're going to be talking all things season 2 predictions because we have no information, honestly, no leaks or anything like that, which is kind of crazy. You'd figure something would have leaked by now, but I haven't seen anything. Have you seen anything?
And there were rumors and stuff, before I think even like season one launched about Ultron and all that stuff. But who knows? I think a lot of it's rumors, but we can get into the nitty gritty of it at some point.
Yeah, so we'll be talking our season 2 predictions here in a little bit, but for the uninitiated, this is Rival Banter, a weekly podcast about all things Marvel Rivals over here on twitch.tv/itishoagie. You can also watch us over on YouTube the following day or listen to us on podcast services everywhere, wherever you're watching us, listening to us. Thank you so much. Make sure you're following. Leave us a like, a comment, a follow, all of those great grand things. And we're just going to jump right into this episode. Seth, I know you've been busy with some other games, mostly Assassin's Creed Shadows. But how was your week in Marvel Rivals? What'd you get up to in game?
Not a whole lot. I played enough to get my Twerk and Venom. Watching those cheeks jiggle. I have, yeah, yeah. And just enough to, yeah, I did this week was the pickup pass or whatever it's called, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called,
Okay.
yeah, the pickup. I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
Pickup something.
Pickup bundle.
Pickup bundle, that's what it was. So did that. Of course, that's light work, easy money. Um but yeah, I mean, other than that, got nowhere near my weekly goal. In fact, I've gone backwards from I think where I was last week. I've just kind of settled on the fact that this season, at least, I'm just plat one material, maybe diamond three material. I've made it back to two, just can't seem to cross that threshold into diamond one and GM. But maybe next season, and if they'll ever add that damn button that'll let me team up with a good team, maybe that'll be what it takes.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into our season 2 predictions, but I think we're going to see some changes coming to ranked in season 2 that'll hopefully help a little bit with some of the yo-yoing that we're seeing. But yeah, we'll get into some of that. Honestly, didn't play a whole lot of rivals this week. I played some quick play, to get some of my dailies in. I did end up making it to Centurion on Mantis, and I feel like my Mantis is getting pretty good. My damage output's feeling really good. I feel like I'm hitting my sleeps consistently. My healing output feels really good. I'm juggling my inspire with my healing really nicely as well. So, one thing I really don't like with Mantis though, and you've played a lot more Mantis than I have, I think, and so you can tell me if you agree with this, but one thing I hate about Mantis is when I lock in Mantis, the number of other healers who feel the need to then lock in Adam Warlock alongside me. And I'm like, no, I don't need you to do that. Like I love the team up, like it makes rivals unique, right? But sometimes I feel like it unnecessarily forces team compositions that I don't necessarily need. It's like I don't need the team up right now. If we're running two healers, I don't need you to be Warlock.
Yeah, that's I mean that I think that's pretty common between it's pretty much that whole Guardians team up kind of inspires that. Like, I'm good. Maybe if it's a triple support situation, it could be cool, but that's not enough output for me, especially in that team up in particular.
And I've learned it sometimes, like if you're playing with a warlock who knows what he's doing, you can make it work. If you're playing with somebody who knows how to juggle the cooldowns, but there's too many times where I'm playing with an Adam Warlock who just jumps in and like immediately uses his soul bond, and I'm like, brother, that's on a 30-second cooldown, man. That's like a mini ultimate. and you just burned it before they even got out of spawn. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a frustration I have playing Mantis. But I'm having some fun with her. I haven't picked up the pickup bundle yet, but yeah, we'll talk more about that here in a moment as well. But yeah, I did end up playing ranked again. That was one of my goals, was to jump back into ranked for a little bit. It went abysmally. I played probably two of my worst support games of all time in ranked, and I'm back down to plat 3 right now, which is horrible. But we got what, a week and a half left in this season, so I might need to get back on the grind for a little bit, see where I can end up at the end of this season. But I peaked Diamond 2. I feel like that's a pretty good spot to say that I peaked for season 1 of this game. And even if I can't get back to even close to there, I achieved some good things this season.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing, we've talked about how little this may mean before, but whatever. But it's higher than I ever got in Overwatch. So if that helps, we've done. We're living the dream.
What is your peak in Overwatch?
I didn't play that much comp, honestly. I think I made it to silver at one point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was. I don't think I ever got to gold.
I think I made it to like low plat was
Mm.
my peak, and so yeah, I made it higher in this game than I ever did in Overwatch. But all right, Seth. Well, let's jump into some news, man, and let's talk first and foremost about this Venom twerking emote that got added last week. We, our eagle eye caught the supple ass cheeks that were inside of that Galacta's adventure image that was shared on the website, but it got revealed shortly thereafter that they were going to add, I think it's called the symbiote. Is it symbiote boogie or symbiote something?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it's symbiote shuffle or boogie, but what is that called?
Yeah, it's the symbiote boogie emote.
Okay.
Um,
I've seen enough. I guess like that the mayhem mode. Not may. Is it mayhem? What's that called? Or you have like the 2 characters per team. Is
oh,
that still going?
the clone rumble.
Clone Rumble, that's what it is. And so I've seen teams like just getting in a big circle and just twerking at each other with all the different Venoms, shapes, and sizes. It seems pretty wild. Seems like a lot of fun.
um, honestly, man, like the marketing for this game is kind of wild to me, man. Let me see if I can find this Reddit post actually. Um, from earlier this week. Like, the marketing team over at NetEase, or whoever they're contracting to do their marketing for the official Marvel Rival shit, is just insane to me. And dude, I need to get this set back up to where you can see my screen too. I'm gonna screenshot this actually and just drop it in the document that we share so that you can see this with me as well. But um, this is an official ad for. Right, you should be able to see it in the show notes that I will now send to you on Discord. You have Discord open?
Yes.
Okay, let me send it to you over there. Oh, I need to. My bad. Hold on. Technical difficulties, guys. Don't worry.
It's a couple of old boys just
old men
struggling.
All right, 1 second. It now it's coming. There you go.
Yeah. Ooh.
So
baby.
So this is an actual this is an actual advertisement for the Marvel Rivals is running. Where first of all, I love that they put Venom in the middle here, cheeked up.
He's the center of attention.
But just really focusing in on the asses inside of the game. But NetEase is really willing to lean into the derriere assets that are within this game in order to market. And as memey as that is, I do think it's cool. Like, one of the big differences I think in Marvel and DC, and you're a little more familiar with these two universes than I am, is that like DC tends to be a lot kind of like more grounded and grittier, right? And I think Marvel has a lot more capacity to be like more outlandish and sillier. And I really like that Rivals has this kind of bandwidth to do a lot more silly things within this universe that they've set up, right? And canonically within like the narrative that they've set up for the game itself, they're able to do it. And with the twerking emoji that we're seeing, with some of the skins that they put in the game, the stuff, or sorry, the twerking emote that they've put in the game, and some of the skins they put in the game, it's just really clear that like Rivals is willing to go there, and I think I like that.
Yeah, DC has segments of its universe that I think are like that, but I think Rivals are just Marvel in general. I mean, it's a little more whimsical. I think just on the whole, it can get pretty deep and dark for sure, or gritty, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. I think Marvel just on the whole is a lot more just kind of like realistic character based, and DC is more like just I don't know, like these kind of more like familial friendly relationships played out over these epic arcs or whatever. I don't know. It's a much more like I don't know, kind of like grander scale than a lot of Marvel stories, and I think the characters. It's harder. It's hard to see them joking around and doing the kinds of things. Like I can see, maybe like I don't know, an invisible. There are a whole Invisible Woman arcs about like Namor falling in love with her and doing all that stuff. I don't know. I can definitely see it. It's much more Marvel-y thing,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do like an April Fool's event or anything like that. It seems like all they did for April Fool's was the twerking thing. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. No, just I mean that's good enough for me, in my opinion. I mean that's something you can't say we're hurting for content. I think, but especially with another season coming out, I'm sure we'll be getting trailers next week for that. So I'm not heartbroken or anything. That you gave me an emote. You gave me the Galacta board game. You gave me the Clone Rumble game. I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah. Speaking of content, the other thing, and we already touched on this a little bit, but want to talk a little bit more in depth about it. This week, Rivals put out their pickup bundle, and this is over on PC Gamer from Rory Norris, kind of explaining what this pickup bundle is. So, kind of, it's a cheap, like mini battle pass almost, like mini very easy to accomplish battle pass, right? So you pay $3 for it. You get the hyper orange Venom skin, which is really just the base Venom skin recolored with orange. And then you get the name card and something else, right?
That's like I think the last thing on the pass is the name card. It's mostly like there are three or four sections of it are like 50 units each, or no, 50 crystal, whatever the purple currency is, and you get the skin token, which is not for any skin in the game, as I learned, but a select number of skins. Um, and then am I missing anything?
Yeah,
I think that's
so
most of it.
yeah, so you get the spray and you get the nameplate, and then I think the big thing most people were excited to see was you get this costume coin within it. So, which is that redeemable for any costume in the game, or is there a limit?
No, no, that's what I mean. That's what I thought. But when you go to redeem it, or you can go and like preview the skins before you even get the token, and it's a certain number. And honestly, they're either ones I already had or just don't really have a huge interest in. I ended up using mine on the Squirrel Girl skin,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's called, where she's got like the shorts and the sunglasses or whatever. Um, I kind of was frustrated, not at Rivals. It was just at like I guess the cosmic circumstance. But I had just bought the mag skin, the classic Magneto, days before the pickup bundle dropped, and sure as shit, it was on. It's one of those skins that I could have gotten for a fraction of what I actually ended up paying for it. Because I was like, I just want the skin. I want to play some more mag. It's gonna make me enjoy it even more. So I think I paid like $10 out of the 16 or whatever for the bundle, and 2 days later, pickup bundle, here we come. But I like Orange Venom. I don't play Venom. I like the Orange Venom. The Space Venom was one of the skins as well, and I almost got that, but I was like, number one, I don't play Venom, so whatever. Number two, if when I do play Venom, if I get around to it, I've got Orange Venom now. So didn't have any Squirrel Girl skins. It is what it is.
Let me give you my read on this, Seth. All right.
Talk to me.
I think this is a
I
good
said,
thing.
talk to me.
I think this is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. Okay. What I'm about to say is going to sound like this isn't a good thing, but I think this is a good thing. I think that this was a stopgap piece of content over the fact that the engagement on the Galactus adventure and the completion rate on Galactus adventure was far higher than they anticipated it being. I think that they didn't expect people to finish Galactus adventure at the rate that they finished it, and
Mm-hmm.
and therefore they put this pickup bundle together in order to incentivize people to continue playing the game for the week between when the Venom twerking emote dropped and season 2 dropped. So because the way that you unlock this stuff is you have to play what 3 matches a day every day for each level of the pickup bundle, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
3 games.
so like I think from just like a technical setup standpoint, I think the bundle is like a really easy way to set the bundle up, right? Like, okay, the conditions for advancing, you complete three matches a day and you unlock the next phase. They did have to kind of create a new currency with this costume coin. I don't know how challenging a thing that is, but like the Venom skin is clearly just like a recolor of the base Venom skin. There's nothing really super technical about it. Um, I think probably same thing with like the nameplate and the spray. Like there's nothing here that screams like heavy lift going on with any of it, right? So I'm not saying that this wasn't planned for a long, long time, but I don't think that this was like something that's been on the content calendar for Marvel Rivals for a long time. I think this was kind of a not an oh shit thing, but more of a hey, we should probably put something out there for the people like me and you who we completed Galactus Adventure a week before. I mean, we were talking even last week on the podcast how like, hey, we finished this thing, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that's my read on it. What do you think of that?
I hadn't thought about that. That's a really interesting take. And I'm kind of like, there's no proof, there's no way to like really confirm that. But I mean, it makes sense. Like it's pretty dainty. It's pretty small. I like that it's, I don't feel like you see a lot of that, like $2.99, like $2.99 content drops.
It
Like
feels free.
it, it feels free, right? And it's quick, it's easy, but it's not too quick. Like you gotta, even though you're not doing a lot, you just have to play 3 games
Mm-hmm.
a day or whatever, or just 3 games, then 3 games. Then I haven't tried to spread it across days or whatever to see if that works. Probably does, but it's enough to kind of keep you motivated, keep you maybe logging in if you want to get as much crap as you can, like people are prone to do in these kinds of games. Go for it. I think for some reason there's this weird mental state that I even get in where I'm like, if there's stuff out there that I can get in this digital space and I like the digital space, I want to get as much crap as I can, even if I'm never going to use it. It's nice to kind of have it. And if they ever do like the Apex Legends thing where you can just like click random skin and, if you've got a collection, you never know what you're going to get. And I think that would be badass.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Australian radio show that does the girl math segment?
I think that sounds familiar, but I don't think I've actually watched the show or
Yeah,
read or listened to the show.
It started off really basic, where they'll just like have people call in, and they'll be like, I bought this like reusable coffee cup from Starbucks, and so now my Starbucks is basically free, even though you still have to pay for the Starbucks every morning, but it's free because I have this cup and I have to use it now, basically. And that's kind of what this 2.99 feels like, right? It's like, you know, I'm gonna work towards getting one of these skins anyway, and so 2.99. There's a costume token that's in there that it basically pays for itself. Like, so it's a really smart move from NetEase to like it's such a low price point for people who might not have. I'm sure they've got numbers that show how many people have not spent a dime on this game already, which is, I mean, it's probably a considerable amount of people who haven't spent any money. 2.99 is such an easy number to convince people to just finally put down some money and
Mm.
get people used to paying for some stuff, and then they get some chrono tokens, to maybe make some initial progress on a season pass, and it kind of incentivizes across the board. Like if I'm somebody who's in the middle of my season pass, I get some additional progress. If it's somebody like me and you who's finished our season pass, like that's progress towards like more units. Like, I don't know. It's a smart move, I think, just to kind of continue farming engagement on this game, um, and figuring out more ways to just create more systems to incentivize people to come back to it. So, um, yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't picked it up yet, but it's just because every time I go to buy it in game, I get an error, and I need to just probably buy it outside of the game, like you did.
Mm.
So. All right. Any final thoughts on that before we move on to our main topic of the evening?
No, I think that about covers it. Again, I want more of that kind of stuff. The token alone is worth the 2.99 by far, even with limited selections. And so the fact that you can do that and get you know the Venom content too, like it's a gimme. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, it's how many tokens? Yeah, I mean the Venom skin alone. I mean that would be that's what a six. I think the recolor skins are 600 units, so that's a $6 skin just there by itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So girl math, it's free. It's basically free.
Might as well, consider it done.
All right, let's move on. Seth, we are a week and a half away from season two, coming on April 11th. It's crazy. I felt like we just got into season 1.5. But here we are. Season two is coming around the corner, and I figured next week we're probably going to be talking, at the very least, about leaks, if not about full on trailers and official news, right? So this is the week for us to start talking about our predictions for what we're going to be seeing in season two. I don't really have a structure or anything laid out for how I think we should talk about this. But yeah, I have some initial thoughts written down about who I think is going to get buffed, who's going to get nerfed. But maybe we should start with the juicy stuff, with the new characters, new maps. What we think the season pass is going to be. Those kinds of things. Let's start there, and then we can start talking about the nerdy balance shit.
Go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, new characters, Seth. I feel like there's a hole in the ship somewhere, right? Like we're constantly seeing leaks out of this game, but here we haven't really seen much of anything outside of the fact that long ago we saw, like Ultron, Emma Frost. We've obviously seen Blade in the game with the, Central Park map and stuff like that. Who do you think we're going to see at the start of season two? Who do you think we're going to see midway through season two? Do you think we're going to get one, two, multiple characters? How do you see this shaking out for us?
It's hard because it makes me wonder, and maybe I don't really know. You may be able to remind me what the transition was kind of like at the start of season one, when Thing and Mr. Fantastic dropped. But like we had a story for season 0 or whatever, and I could kind of it has something to do with some Doctor Dooms, clashing between universes or whatever. Um, and now we have this story, which is Dracula, whatever, whatever. And the theme was that like the Fantastic Four or whatever is mixed up in this whole Dracula plot line, right? So it makes me wonder, like, my first guess is like I want to say Blade because we've seen him like in trailers in the game, like he's out there. But it makes me wonder, like, if we're going to be transitioning into a totally new arc or a new story that goes along with the new season, then like, do you drop a character like the vampire hunter character outside of the vampire season? I don't know. So like, it kind of makes me wonder if that's just a tease for later, and we're going to go another way, like more of an X-Men way with like Emma Frost Gambit or something like that, or like Ultron and whoever. And I almost want to lean more towards like Ultron because he's a support character, and we need more supports. Um, so I kind of do lean more that way. And Blade, like, I don't see any way that he couldn't be just like another DPS. And that's not what I want. It's not what we need. It's not what the people deserve.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I you know me, dude. I know nothing about the lore of any of this shit. Like, I'm just playing the game, shooting stuff, and watching the esport. Um, but I agree with the second part of that, which is just that, like, I just can't imagine Nettie's being like, you know what we should do? Put out our 22nd DPS character. Like, um, I
Just make that part of the wheel a lot harder to get through. Um,
yeah, I I have to imagine that there's more strategy behind them. Uh, yeah, I just have to imagine there's more strategy behind the balance of and not balance in terms of like the hero balance, but just the balance in terms of the number of characters in each category with their character releases. Then uh, just continuing to pile on DPS. I mean, we got two DPS characters in the Fantastic Four when they could have just easily made Mister Fantastic a Vanguard, right? So yeah, I hope that Blade isn't the next character that we get. Um, I hope that the tease is a misdirect, you know. And look, I hope that we don't kind of get stuck in this like kind of linear narrative like you're talking about, where we have this kind of vampire aesthetic throughout season to season. I'd love to just kind of maybe return to this like October time, right? We're gonna go back to the vampire thing, and now Blade's back, and it's the vampire hunter thing.
Yeah, something like that. It's like I think I find it hard, like narratively, to say like, oh well, we had a vampire here. Now you're getting another vampire, unless it's just a straight up continuation of the same story. But I feel like whatever is kind of like I should probably delve into the lore a little bit more myself. But I feel like we're not really seeing the Doctor Doom stuff anymore. So we're probably not going to see the vampire stuff anymore next
Mm-hmm.
season.
Well, and that's the beauty of these comic book universes, right? Is that you kind of have these vignettes around the like entire universe, and then they culminate eventually, right? And
Hmm.
so I would hope that that's what we're doing, right? We're kind of seeing these vignettes around the universe, and then after a few seasons, maybe it'll culminate in like one big cataclysmic event. Um, and I'm with you. I would love. I want to see more X Men, and if we see Emma Frost, Gambit, like Rogue, Jubilee in this season, I think that'd be awesome. And I think we've seen a lot more rumors and maybe possibly leaks about like Emma Frost um
Yeah,
abilities.
I've heard Emma Frost. I have a hard time justifying that too, just with Luna Snow being out there. But maybe she's the DPS Luna. Who knows?
Well,
I feel
I've
like a
heard
lot of X
Emma.
Men.
I've heard Emma Frost is a Vanguard.
Really?
Yeah, so that she has two states. That she's got her normal state, and then she's got a diamond state that gives her like extra armor and HP, and
Okay.
that she will have some sort of ability where she's able to grant that armor like in an AOE to people around her as well, or something like that. So yeah, I've seen a lot of rumors about her being the second female Vanguard alongside Penny Parker.
Okay. Well, I mean, I definitely would be down with that. I mean, that makes sense. I was almost about to mention Colossus, like
Mm.
with his iron form being like a natural X-Men Vanguard. But I like the idea of kind of a smaller, but small but mighty Vanguard, kind of like like Penny inside of her big giant arachnid suit. But maybe just like a smaller one, like size doesn't matter. Like she could be just a regular size, not huge buff tank, but pack the power of one. So I'm down with that.
Yeah, Colossus would be awesome too, because isn't Colossus Psylocke's brother?
Something like that. I didn't get into X-Men until very late in life, so uh, that's I tend to lack some knowledge on the millions of X-Men out there.
Yeah, there's tons of X-Men out there, but yeah, I mean, I think just for the sake of all of our sanity, like please, for the love of God, give us a Vanguard, give us a strategist, and I mean, even the idea of like a Gambit Jubilee, those are more DPS characters, right? Like I can't imagine them belonging in any other category, right? What would Ultron be if they were in there?
I could see him being different things. I like the idea of him being a support, and that like I don't know, maybe he I don't know. There's something about him, you know, having like the potential to like maybe even if it's not necessarily as much healing support, maybe he can be kind of another one of those like in betweens between DPS and support, like him being able to send out drones or something like that, or copies of himself, maybe kind of in like a Loki-ish way. Um, I don't know how the healing would work with that, but I like to think that there's some potential because he kind of has different ways that I think he could go.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know much about Ultron, so um, so yeah, you're educating me on this.
Pretty much like a he's like an AI, and he becomes sentient and pretty much just wants to take over everything. And so he's got like the plot. If you watch like the Marvel movies, like he kind of takes over like Iron Man drones and creates other drones, and there are different Ultrons, and at least in comics and stuff like that too. So there's I don't know if it again looks like super incredible healing output healing, but if he were to be support, I think there's some cool possibilities for his character.
Yeah, I think we also need something uh, in the strategist lineup that can kind of deal with uh, dive characters too a little more. I don't know if Ultron can, from what you're saying, maybe there's something in the kit that can for Ultron that could maybe deal with the Spider-Mans, the Psylocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine you because number one, he could fly, so it'll be helpful to have like a flying support. We don't have one of those, right? No,
Mm-mm. Nope.
no, okay. And I mean, if he were possibly like able to kind of post drones, kind of like Loki can post copies or something like that, maybe make them like able to patrol an area or something, kind of mix it up a little bit. But I could almost see that kind of being like an Namor turret almost, like something you can kind of post around point. And I don't know, who knows which direction it could go. But I'm just kind of like I'm spitballing. It's all wild speculation.
What speculate? Yeah, we don't have any information. The sky's the limit here. I mean, because I mean, there's other like I feel like all my suggestions are X-Men, but like I'd love to see like Professor X as a strategist as well.
Hell yeah.
Stuff with like AOE psychic ability and stuff like that could be really cool. Um, so and thinking about an X-Men themed season, and I'm thinking about a domination map that's just the danger room, and it's kind of like the same location for each of the 3 points, but just like altered in different ways.
Hmm.
Could be really cool.
Yeah, that's actually badass. I like that. I like that idea a lot. And even if it's something like there's the danger room and kind of segueing into the mansion or something like that. I don't
Mhm.
know. There's a lot there. Lego just recently I think released an X Men like a you know X Mansion set, and that looks pretty cool. Like I kind of want that. I don't have room for that, but I want that.
Dude, I used to have an old danger room, like, I don't know, like dollhouse. What's the
You would
action
call it a.
what's
I
the
think it'd be
action
like a.
figure equivalent of a dollhouse?
I think we call them play sets. Like when we
Okay,
get like we haven't really bought any in a while because we bought too many. But I'm not just call it like a play set.
all right,
It's like action figure versus doll.
yeah, but
Like an environment. I don't know. It sounds a little too scientific.
but it was blue and
We got
purple,
let's
and
go
it had
play
this
set.
giant ass like spiked wrecking ball, like a giant ass mace. That thing was cool as hell. I played with that thing all the
Oh, I'll
time. It
bet.
was so cool.
I'm jealous.
Um, yeah, because I mean, we have no idea what the theme of this season pass is going to be. Like we had the Darkhold stuff for this season, which had sort of that like steampunk western esque theme to it. I don't even know what the season zero pass was because I didn't buy it. What was the theme of season zero?
I don't really know that it had like I don't think that the pass itself it was the Chronovium or something like that. I mean it was just kind of like I want to say it was just kind of like futuristic almost. I'm thinking of that mantis skin.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's all like, yeah, it's just like very shiny armor plates and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I'm trying to remember who else was in there, but I mean there wasn't a lot
Yeah,
to it.
hella strange.
Okay.
Yeah, it has like those Power Ranger looking skins, those like new
Hmm.
school Power Ranger looking skins. Yeah, strange. Black Panther, hella Punisher. Yeah, so I don't even know what the theme of this new season is going to be. But it's funny because well, I guess the Darkhold stuff is kind of in line with like the vampire hunter uh, aesthetic of season one. Um, but yeah, I can't even begin to imagine what the theme of this season two is going to be. You have any wild speculation as to what that could be?
No, I mean other than just like X Men will be badass. X Men will be awesome. Other than that, I mean there are all kinds of the Venom stuff makes me some symbiote stuff could be cool. Um, I don't know. There are just so many possible directions we could go. But I think they've done a great job so far doing pretty original stuff. Like, when I picked up the game, I didn't expect, I picked up like I bought it, but when I downloaded the game, I didn't expect it to have this whole multiversal Doom plot line kind of lurking in the background. And, from season 1.5 dropped, I did not really expect for it to involve Dracula and, like kind of like insidious meme lore, like with like were you aware of like of the Moon Knight thing when Moon Knight is on the Dracula's castle map?
Mm-mm. No, what about this?
Okay, so there's this like old there's meme somebody made up to like look like it was actually in a comic, and it was something like if you look up like Moon Knight Dracula meme, I'm sure you'll find it. But and it's gonna use some heavy language, so get ready. But it's something um like I hate that Dracula, that motherfucker owes me money or something like that. Um, and if there's supposedly if you get Moon Knight or like you play Moon Knight on that map at a certain point, you might hear him drop a line that's kind of like that, just
Oh,
without the colorful language.
yeah, I've heard him say the "he owes me money" line. I have no idea what
Yeah.
he's talking about.
So that came from some meme that like people tried to pass off as like a comic book panel or something like that, just as like a joke about like Moon Knight being cheesy or whatever. But yeah, that's so like deep cut stuff like that. Like there's so much. not even just from regular comic book lore, but just from like Marvel fandom that goes into this game that kind of makes it, other than just the gameplay, which is addictive and fun, and all the skin stuff, and just like the care and the love that that the creators seem to have for more like all things Marvel. I think really comes through and stuff like that. Not even just the stuff that's like Marvel canon, but like just from the meme culture too. You know,
Hmm.
why else would we have a Venom twerking skin
Well, and also
or
just yeah, go ahead.
whatever it's called, emote?
Well, and also just the awareness that they have of their own community, right? I mean, the trailer that they put out for the Clone Rumble, uh, uh, the Clone Rumble mode had all kinds of references to stuff that people talked about on Reddit. With like the Iron Man ulting into the Captain America Circle of Shields. The building of the house with the Groot walls and things like that. So they're super aware of how the community itself is memeing on the game and stuff. So I. I love that stuff too, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier that they're like not taking themselves very seriously. And I think it's something that Overwatch has done a better job of as time went on with understanding like how leaning into the comedy around their community and like making fun of themselves can be a good like Overwatch brings so many players back this time of year with like their April Fool's events and stuff like that because they're so willing to make fun of themselves now. And so it's cool to see Marvel or Marvel Rivals really kind of jumping on that train early on and understanding that that's I don't know. There's an appetite for that among communities right now. We
It
want to
puts
be
the asses
seen.
in the seats.
Yeah, puts the asses in the seats. Um, all right. Any other predictions before we get into the nerdier stuff about buffs and nerfs that we think we're going to see?
No, I think we covered a lot of weird ground there.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about some buffs and nerfs that we think we're gonna see here. Um, First, well, before we do that, let's talk about changes that we think are going to come to ranked because I do think we're going to see some changes coming to the ranked system here in season two, and I do think we're going to see. One thing I think that we are going to see I was talking with Larry about this earlier, actually, is I think that at the time, the decision to not do a mid-season ranked reset seemed like it was a really great call, right? Like, oh man, they're listening to the community. Like, oh, we've got jobs. We don't want to do another rank climb like mid-season. Don't reset us, blah, blah, blah. But now that we're like a week away from the new season, I'm kind of thinking that it wasn't necessarily the best decision for us, right? I think a ranked reset is always a great option because it's always good to get the people who don't necessarily belong in those ranks to force them to make their way back to those ranks. And go ahead.
No, no, I mean, I agree. I loved the idea at the time because I was like, yes, I mean, I had just kind of gotten started in my ranked climb around the 1.5, what was supposed to be the reset. So I was like, oh my God, do I even play? So I loved it at the time. Now that I've been kind of stagnant for a while, and of course, some of that's probably a skill issue, sure. But of course, some of that is you get in lobbies still at like the diamond level where no one is willing to play support. So or just everybody wants to go DPS or whatever. So yeah, I definitely think that it probably is helpful to take people down a peg or two at that mid-season mark or end at the end of season, start of the next season.
So yeah, I think I mean we're gonna get the 6 tier reset probably at the start of this season, but I do think we're also gonna get a half season reset. I think they're gonna bring that back and just say, hey, sorry guys, it makes sense. We had some ranked inflation issues, and yeah, I think when we see the end of season rank distributions, we're gonna see some weird numbers here at the end of this season. I think that's one of the changes. I think we are gonna see um some slight differences to the way that RP is given versus the way that RP is taken away, based off of wins and losses, to where it's going to try to make it to where you even out to the rank that you belong in when you get to a 50% win rate. Because right now, I think there's too many players that are sitting in like GM and higher with less than 50% win rates, because you're still getting more rank points for a win than you're getting for a loss. So I think we're going to see some changes in that regard too. So just some math changes in ranked. Um, but yeah, outside of that, I don't know how much else. I mean, I think the reset's gonna do wonders. um,
Yeah.
I think 3 months of no ranked reset is tough for any competitive environment. I think you're always going to get a little bit of ranked bloat. But all right, Seth, why don't you kick us off? Who are some people you think are going to get some buffs coming up in season two?
I definitely think, and I'm kind of looking at your list, and I agree definitely with a lot of these. Well, we've talked about it a little bit before. Hulk's got to get some love. I still see Hulks out in the wild some. It's nowhere near as much as I saw like at the beginning of the season, with Iron Man, and the gamma radiation team up. But I think just I don't know if it's a damage issue or what, but he's got to get a little bit more viable competitively. And I think maybe just a slight tweak to his damage, or maybe to his maneuverability, like his ability. Like he's got a great jump. Um, I don't know if there's just like a way to kind of make him duck and dive a little bit quicker. Because would you consider him a dive character, like in a way?
Yeah, he's definitely a dive character in that, just in the sense that like he gets out in front a lot faster than everybody else.
Mhm. So I mean, but I don't really see him used that way a lot. I don't know. Or if you do, it's not in the same way you see like a Venom or a Spider Man or something like that. Kind of diving in, diving out a ton. So
Yeah, I
I
don't see
think
a lot of Hulks getting out.
right, you see them go in, and I typically see them go too far in, and whether that's a skill issue or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe if it's even just like a reduced charge to charging his jump or something like that. That would be great. And that would make me more tempted to play a little bit more Hulk. Um, Human Torch, I think I've got you. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about him. I think that I don't know that he needs any more buffs because he's become a lot tougher of a play here in the last few weeks since they buffed him already. So I've been seeing a lot more of him, and he's a lot more annoying than he used to be. If nothing else. So I don't know that he needs a lot more love.
Yeah,
Uh,
Go, going back to Hulk real quick.
yeah.
Yeah, the Hulk thing is hard because I think sometimes with Hulk it's more about the cooldown loop than it is about anything with regards to his design. And sometimes I wonder if maybe a second bubble would help with him, like an individual bubble on cooldown would maybe help him, because just what I see a lot is a lot of people diving in and just getting blown up instantly, right? Because he doesn't have any like shielding or anything outside of just the one bubble shield that he gets, and it kind of takes a while to deploy. Like it's got a big wind up animation and stuff like that. Like the survivability is just is tough, and he kind of has to, you almost have to pocket him if he goes in, right? Like and so yeah, maybe a shorter cooldown on his bubble or something like that could help him. I don't know if his damage is necessarily what needs to happen, but yeah, if something could be tweaked on his charge for his jump or something like that, that could be helpful too. But yeah, I agree. Hulk needs some love. and yeah, I don't know. I think Human Torch might be more of a case for me just in terms of just the pick rate. I still just don't see him a lot. And maybe the projectile stuff is enough for the changes. I think his ult is still a little lackluster. Doesn't feel like it is that impactful of an ultimate ability. It's really easy to dodge. It's really easy to like wait out. Um, and so but yeah, I don't know. I think that there's still room for them to make some tweaks and stuff. I don't know exactly what those tweaks will be, but these aren't necessarily things that I think need to happen. I think it's just things that we're going to see happen in this patch. So I think we're going to see some more buffs for Human Torch in season 2. I also think yeah, the did you see the Penny bug fix that got addressed?
No, I don't think so.
So it turns out like so Penny's minds are supposed to be invulnerable if they're inside of her webs, but that wasn't the case. And so you were able to destroy her minds inside of her webs, and when it was identified, they fixed the issue. It was like a crazy turnaround. They did it in like 9 hours or something like that.
Oh,
Once the issue
yeah,
was
I'm definitely,
identified.
now that you say that, I didn't realize they were supposed to be or invulnerable. I shoot the shit out of those things when I see them, and typically it works just fine shooting them. So, yeah,
So
didn't realize that was a bug.
so she kind of got a buff through the bug fix, right? And so I mean that in and of itself is I think big for her. Um, but really, Penny's ult sucks. Like that's the main thing for her is like her ultimate ability is really bad. She I think you could give some improvements to the knockup ability. The damage output on the knockup ability and stuff like that. I think it's really easy to shoot her and kill her in her ultimate ability. Um, maybe some improvements to the healing output when she's standing on her webs during her ultimate or something like that could be helpful. But I think we're gonna see some buffs to her ult. And then I just have some general ones here. I don't know exactly what these buffs are going to be, but I think they're going to continue to try to figure out what to do with Widow. I think I think the Moon Knight changes to his ult kind of put him in the dirt. um, if you go look at his win rates, if you looked at his win rates, dude, they're crazy. Like across all ranks, they're like in the low 40s on across
Oh wow.
all ranks. Um, so I think they're going to do some stuff with Moon Knight. I think they're going to have to do some stuff with Scarlet Witch, and they're going to have to do some stuff with Mister Fantastic. So those are, and then I think the only healer that's really going to get any kind of buff is Jeff, and that's just to his healing output.
Now you said, I noticed on the God Doc you said his damage. You think to his healing output.
Yeah, I think his healing output. I look. I think there's too many damage characters in this game already that I don't think NetEase wants. Some sort of like weird off DPS character sitting in the strategist category. So
Yeah,
I think we're gonna see them do some nerfs. I don't think they want a strategist character 3-tapping backline heroes with his secondary fire. Um, so yeah, I think they're gonna nerf his damage and buff his healing output.
yeah, I can see that. There's definitely a call for that. That would help get rid of a lot of those backline GIFs. That's what I like to call them, at least. The
Yeah.
ones that just hang out in the back line, just swimming around. Like what are you doing other than just not even stalling the point, but just trying. Like you're almost like diving at that point with Jeff
Mm-hmm.
from underwater.
And it's not like it's a. I mean, it's a viable strategy. I mean, we've seen pro teams use it. We saw who did we see? We saw FlyQuest against 100 Thieves win a point on Hell's Heaven with a backline Jeff. Doing 13,000 damage in a on Hell's Heaven with a backline Jeff. So it's not like this
That's
is
fair.
some outlier, right? Like this is something that is viable, and I just don't think that's what NetEase wants out of a Jeff character. As cool as
Well,
it is
it's
to see.
also I think it's viable at the pro level like that. It's not it's not so viable in plat when people are mostly just swimming
Yeah.
and swimming running away in the
Mhm.
back line. So I don't know. It's a little pet peeve.
Yeah. Um, I think we're also going to see a nerf to the Strange Portal. I think we're going to see because, dude, I don't like how teams will not play Strange at all, and then when they need to stall a point, they're going to switch to Strange and Portal to the point. So I think we're going to see like Portal is on like a 15-second cooldown if you switch to Strange or something like that. Like you don't instantly get it if you switch to Strange after the match starts or something along those lines. I also think hopefully we'll see some map adjustments to where you can't like spawn block people with Portal. So like adding a third spawn door to like point 0.3 on Idrisil or stuff like that. um, so just
Yeah.
overall some nerfs to Strange Portal. Um, and then I think we're gonna see some changes to Wolverine passive because like right now he can like maintain his passive off of like Groot walls and stuff like that. Like he can just keep his passive up in kind of some weird interactions that make him really really strong right now, and kind of make him really annoying to play against if you're certain tanks. And the matchup is not just like hard, but it's also just like not fun. So I think we're gonna see some changes there too. Are there any nerfs you think are going to come through?
Nothing that kind of comes to mind like right away. I think definitely I like the idea of the portal being nerfed kind of for that reason. Yeah, I mean, other than that, nothing's really ringing a bell for me.
Um, and then the last thing is just the one thing that stuck out in my mind when they put the 1.5 patch notes out is how they specifically called out targeting the triple strategist meta when they talked about the changing like the ult charge math for like Invis, Cloak and Dagger, Luna Snow, those characters. Um, I really don't think NetEase wants the triple strategist meta to be a thing. And right now, the only triple strategist metas that we're seeing at like as super viable are ones with like Adam Rez in them. But even that, I don't think is something that NetEase wants to see. So I think we're going to see something a little more targeted towards like the actual like math of triple strategist comps. So whether that's like slower ult charges for strategists that are running triple strategist, or changes to the way that healing output works if you have three strategists out on the map or something like that. That might be like that might be less of a prediction and more of a like wish list item for myself because
Sure, yeah.
dude, I watched the game the other day that had a they didn't ban Loki or Adam out, and so you had like four reses out on the map, and it was like not fun to watch at all. It's like, who wants to play this? This is shit, dude. Like, um, and so yeah, I don't know. I want to see them kind of more heavily target this three strategist comp because yeah, it's not fun to watch, and it's really not fun to play against either, man. Because like, how many times have we been playing and it's like, dude, nothing is fucking dying. What the hell is going on? And then you press the scoreboard button, and you're like, oh yeah, they got a third healer out here, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So
But again, it's all in how you play it too. Because I mean, people try that on your team, and it does nothing. So it all just kind of depends on how everybody jives and how everybody plays the game. So I don't know how much weird math needs to be done for that, but to maybe like decrease its viability. But I mean, I don't. I hate to get rid of a possibility if that makes sense. And because that's one of the things that keeps this game fresh, I think, is just the fact that you can make anything work if you do it right.
yeah, I don't know. I guess if your third healer is a backline Jeff, the weird math would start to feel a lot worse. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know. All
or
right,
a Loki that holds its ult for 3 rounds of
dude,
domination.
what's going on? I mean, we're in plat diamond lobbies with Lokis who like I don't know if they don't know what their ult does. If like I don't get it, man. Like I've been in multiple games with Lokis that don't ult ever. Like what the fuck is wrong with y'all? If you're a Loki who
Yeah,
has gone a whole game without ulting, please put in the comments what the fuck is wrong with you. Whatever you've been medically diagnosed with, put it in the comments below.
just give us your medical history. Throw in your social security number, man. It'll be fine. It'll be
Please put
fine,
your
dog.
mother and father's phone numbers in so we can talk to them. All right?
We'll take good care of them.
Yeah. Jesus. Did you watch any tournament play this weekend?
Yeah, I actually probably watched more than I have in the past. I probably again couldn't recall a lot of specifics, but I watched a little bit of Asia. I think Sunday morning. I want to say Saturday and Sunday morning. A little bit of EU. I want to say they played a little bit later in the day, right? Or were
If it was
they?
later in the day, it was probably NA. EU plays in the
Okay,
morning, and
I
Asia
know I
plays
watched
overnight.
NA. Gotcha. I couldn't remember if he was playing or not, but I definitely watched like 100 Thieves play a little bit. I forget some of the matchups that I watched, but it had fun, enjoyed it. Again, it's nice to see. I think I did enjoy watching Fight Night a little bit more.
Oh, you watched Fight
Last
Night? What were your thoughts on Fight Night?
again, I kind of just was tuning in sporadically, but I kind of just enjoyed the commentary a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like you said, I think that there's a little bit more production value to some of that. Now it will be nice. I didn't really see any players kind of coming on between rounds or anything like
Yeah.
that in that view.
No,
Um,
I think they do interviews after the games, but yeah.
okay. But yeah, I just kind of enjoyed the just moment to moment experience a little bit more. And Radio Rivals is fine, but again, like our Rivals Invitational with those 10 minutes between rounds gets to be a lot. What is it in Fight Night? I didn't even really notice that, but it seemed better.
So if it's the same teams, they just go. They just go to the next.
Yes,
They
that's
just
what
go
I
to the next
thought because
map. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was watching and because teams will play other teams kind of back to back too, right? Like was it I forget who I was watching. Who was playing from NA and Fight Night last week?
Shikigami and Shroud X, and
Okay,
then
I think I saw.
and then
Was Thieves playing in it too?
yeah, then Thieves played Shikigami, I think.
Okay, because I want to say I felt like Thieves went like back to back against two different teams, and it was like I didn't even realize the change had happened. It was that quick.
Yeah, their production
Um,
is great, and they get people in and out of lobbies fast. Like they run a tight ship, and I think that's what makes that program so good to watch. Um, like the esports just move along. It's like how hard is it? Like it's a fucking remote game. Like just get people in the lobbies. Let's go. Like let's play the video game.
yeah, somebody I think in the stream this weekend, one of the NA streams, called it like a bathroom break, and I'm like, you have to have a bathroom break every round, or just between each individual one. Come on.
Yeah. Dude, I love watching the in-game tournament stuff though, just because like this weekend was the top 32 teams from each of those regions, right? And so a lot of these teams, they're not pro players, right? Like they're good players. And so you're seeing a lot of weird comps. Like I told you I woke up in the middle of the night one night and couldn't go back to sleep, so I turned on the Asia tournament and I'm like, holy shit, there's a team that's running like uh they were running like a Squirrel Girl Mr. Fantastic comp, and when Mr. Fantastic stopped working, they switched to like some other weird ass DPS that I can't remember who it was now, but I'm like, you're not gonna see this on in an invitational, right? Like when teams are these pro teams are like min max and comps or whatever. Like you've got these weird one tricks that like they're weird characters, and so uh, I think there's one more weekend uh, of the in game tournament, right? But it sounds like you watched more of it than I did this weekend. But I'll definitely try to tune in this weekend because I'm living that bachelor life this weekend all by myself.
Where your wife is?
she's coming back east to look at places for us to live when we move. So,
Okay. Okay.
so yeah. All right, man. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Seth, what are your goals and rivals this week?
I just want to keep having fun, man. Some of the kids I play with, or not play with, but like that are on my like, esports team at school. I think some of them like are just stressing out, like they're stressing ranked. It splits people. It's like splitting them up. Like some kids, they don't wait on their friends. They just like have been climbing, and like kind of clicks away from each other. And I'm like, just have fun with the game, And I was telling kids today, like I've been sweating it too. Like I finally I'm not going to say I've given up on my GM dreams or whatever. But like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, am I playing competitive just to climb? I'm not going pro. I'm 34 years old. It's the dream is over. I'm too slow. But even for those who aren't like, just like, if you want to just jump in and have fun, play some quick play. Competitive, even except for those random weird games where you do have some crappy team comp or people that don't act like they know what they're doing. On the whole, I mean, it's just a more competitive experience, and like I feel like a lot of games they're a lot closer than a lot of quick play games are a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like it's just kind of a more like not tough in a frustrating way necessarily, although it can be. But like it's you're in it for the competition. You're in it to go up against other people in a perfect world that are around the same skill level as you. And so it's gonna feel naturally more like a grind anyway. So I'm just kind of trying to embrace that mentality moving forward, just to kind of keep myself from stressing out about something that ultimately doesn't really matter in any way, shape, or form, right? Like nobody, I'm not getting paid for my rivals rank. I'm not getting views based on my rivals rank. I'm just a dude with a job who plays a game when he can, and then talks about that game once a week on a podcast that some people watch. That's what's going on over here.
Nice. I love that mentality, dude. Yeah, I'm trying to have a healthier relationship with rank too, because like even those 2 games I played this week, it just frustrated me, man. And I don't like getting frustrated at a video game like that. And I don't want to have to care as much as I was caring, And so,
Yeah.
it like I'm gonna finish out this season in plat, and I'm gonna be fine with that. And I'm gonna try to play and be in diamond, and come next season, and uh but ultimately I'm gonna try to have fun. I like the idea of us, trying to grind out, be a tank duo next season, because nobody's playing
Mm-hmm.
tank, and it's like let's be the change we wish to see in the world. And I'm finding some tanks I like to play as, and if Emma Frost comes out and she's fun, me and you can start playing as her too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm trying to, like I watched a couple of episodes of a competitive Pokemon video game documentary on YouTube. It's on the Pokemon channel for free, for free. But it was I didn't even think like Ash Ketchum in the Pokemon anime. He's kicking it for like 30 years and or 20, however long it was. I'm not a Pokemon expert by any means, but he didn't win a lot or catch all that many Pokemon, but he still kept fucking going. And you know, I'm fine with being in silver for a while or gold for a while, and keeping that consistently climbing, trying our best until eventually you do win. Spoilers for Pokemon, he starts winning eventually, and maybe we will too. Maybe we will
Maybe we will.
too.
That's right. All right, guys. Maybe you'll start winning too. All right. But until then, you need to go out and just have fun with the game. And before you do that, you need to leave a like, a comment, and follow on this podcast, because we get together every week and we talk about this game because we love this game and we have fun with this game, all of its flaws and all. And we can't wait to start talking about the actual content of season 2 and not just our, harebrained speculation about what might be coming to season 2. And so we'll see you guys next week for all things season 2. Seth, thanks for your time, buddy. I know you had yourself a long day, but good luck in your games this